ladies and gentlemen, when you come to Zambia, there is a saying that goes like, which simply means the promiscuity of a man cannot break a household. So a man can do what he wants in terms of moving around, but the household will be intact. Only a lady's promiscuity will break a house. Where will go away? Until your wife does it.
Yeah, so for me, what I can say is, you're hearing saying
Modern world doesn't accept that.
These ones, the working class women will got, I think, that's why we are seeing a lot of divorce cases, I think. So in the modern days, I think that was very much true.
In the old age.
In the old age, yes. But in the modern ones, because a lot of ladies have been empowered. Mind you, the pain of the heart, if you discover that your husband or your wife, it's the same. Whether you're a woman or the pain is the same.
Yes.
So now, those ones have the option. So but these ones who can even some you find they're living built a house without the husband, you know. Those ones.
I read the story of a guy who was renting the house for about 10 years or 20.
No, even our former president, you're renting a house at Suzu's house when your wife is going to 15.
So, but you know. So now, you see, Owen, I've got something that, this is very controversial. I was even laughing and smiling as you say. You see, I was reading something, I forget, okay, let me take you a little bit to this thought.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to take it to the Bible.
Okay.
Okay? I know you're a Christian. And,
Yes, I am.
you know, the Pharisees went to Jesus and said something. He says about divorce, and says if you want to divorce your wife, you give her. Moses said you give her a certificate of divorce, and Jesus. And you know the funny thing, it just talked about somehow it talked about inclined so much to a woman, not a man.
Yeah.
And a woman who's been caught in adultery, not a man who's been caught in adultery. And unfortunately, even the woman that was found in adultery was brought to Christ. They did not bring a man. They did not bring a man.
Yes.
They brought a woman.
Yes.
So now
they wanted to have stone. Right?
I'm mixing it with but you see, a man has got a lot more advantages when it comes to that. I've got it's not something that I promote or you want to champion. No, but I want to face a reality. And the reason I'm saying this is I base this on biblical principles. You see, when Adam and Eve did whatever they did and stuff like that, and God said to a woman, this man will rule over you, and your desire will be for him. And I want to believe that's where that statement comes, and it's backed by that scripture.
You approve it.
Let me because I don't want to say, I want to read it the way it is.
You know what you're referring to?
I want to read it the way it is.
When the serpent had given Eve the fruit to eat, and then when God was apportioning the cases, he was like, no.
I want to be educated on that one, Mr. Moss.
So apart from all those scenarios that you brought, there are also issues where I've heard other people say, because of a lot of issues women go through, their heart is prepared to engulf and bear that pain, compared to a man. When a woman discovers that the woman has
when the man discovers that the woman is
yes, when the man discovers that the woman did this, the pain is so much for a man.
Are you defending guys or is it?
That's
which sides are you using?
No, it's there because you know those are scenarios I've heard from women to say, you know, we are used and we've head where our mothers, our aunties went through this. Yeah, and
okay, I want to read it the way it is. I want to read it the way it is. I didn't want to
misquote the scripture.
Okay.
People might think Noah is just a pagan.
Yes.
Who knows those scriptures?
This is found in Genesis 3, verses 6. And it says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow.
Something.
No, thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Let me read it correctly. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thee, to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So the desire of a woman, and sure, the desire of a woman, I'm not a pastor, I'm not what, I'm just a believer.
Neutral, yes.
Yeah. So on that, the woman, one, the increase of pain in terms of childbearing is there, it's a reality, and no one disputes that.
Yes.
And God put it that way. But the issue of a man ruling over a woman is something that is debatable, and everyone doesn't want to agree to that. But how? Why do we? Why are we going to be selective on what we approve? But on the the pain of giving birth and stuff like that, it's okay. We have accepted it. It's fine. But the ruling over.
So ruling over someone doesn't mean mistreating.
No, I didn't say mistreating. I said the desire and the rule. I didn't say
the point is that the childbearing pain has been accepted as a normal standard. But one element from that scripture that is neglected in our modern time is we're trying to
So the ruling is whenever a ruler becomes abusive, the subject reports.
Yes.
So we saw the recent
Sri Lanka
whenever a ruler becomes abusive,
I feel you are not answering the question. You are not answering the question.
No, listen, I'm answering. I'm going.
It's something there's a way you want him to answer.
No, you see, I'm not saying the consequences of not doing what. I'm saying
we
do you accept? Okay. Do you accept
the women accepts to say men are in charge. So the ruling, the women have accepted to say a man is the head of the house.
I have not accepted.
No. That contradicts the point you said. The modern woman has not accepted that. It's a challenge.
No. I think that's where we miss it. Me, I'm talking from the point
as a married
man.
On set.
Yes. So the way we relate with my wife. One, I know to say I work.
Careful in what you say.
Yes.
She might see it and
she will see it.
No, I work, she works. So there, in terms of ruling and giving direction, I think there are a lot of things that men have mixed up there. A situation where, the traditional teachings where inondo, what. So there was an issue in a particular marriage I had where the man was so furious that abakashina abali amwe. So ababomboshi baisaumva. Inondo ababomboshi bali shitemwa. Baya shideshi abaprepactisha something. The man threw the binondo out. No, I want that particular such kind of leadership.
We've got you more than enough, but
so the issue is if you love Inondo, or if Inondo is your prepared delegates to you as a man. There's also those pre-packed, but don't demand until they give me for that particular chicken that everyone else is eating. I think that becomes something dictatorship, and I think those are the issues you have with these modern women.
We'll talk about that because I've got a lot of questions. because
no, leadership. It's something that.
It's like me and Owen. We always have this thing. Whatever is about, I oppose.
It's a good friendship because you drop a logical conclusion that helps both of you.
leadership, whether someone is learned or not, they know authentic leadership and they will follow it.
You mean the women?
The women. But if the ilemoneka shanita ilemoneka defined wino mailo wabatwalo and then uyu muntu letwalo konango alisambirira, she's also learned about leadership, and then so she starts pushing you to say no. Yesterday mwalandire nomba lero, that consistency in certain men, it's not there. So you find the woman feels like okay, so now pushing her in a particular direction. I think that is not in subordination. I think we need to also learn that particular aspect.
Element of co-help.
Yes. The item that you brought up and say which end of a mountain. You see, me, I've never heard, I've never seen. If I've heard, maybe I've just heard. I didn't pay attention, maybe. I've never seen a woman that is married to about even in the history, that is married to about 7 men.
There are some trending on social media. I think the past
is it a woman that was married? Or was a guy?
There's a Kenyan woman who's married to.
In South Africa, I think it's really in law now.
Yeah.
Women can marry.
Yeah, then we've also seen.
No, in South Africa, there was a debate. It was actually in Parliament, I saw. I don't know if they approved it. Even in Zambia, I think there was an issue to say. There was an issue to, if it wasn't in Parliament, but there was a motion, I think, somewhere. It says they need to pass a law that men are supposed to be allowed to marry 2 women without the consent and the authority from the wife. Mm-hmm. So I think there was a parliamentarian who opposed and said, should be here. If I'm not mistaken, must be some member of parliament for some chat in Wakura.
Wakura, no southern.
Now the lady, she said, if that law needs to be passed in that regard, then also women should be allowed to marry 2 men, because it should not be only one-sided, because we talk of equal rights. If men should have that right. But the question, if you talk about it logically, biologically, even the way we are made, our bodies are made up and stuff, is it possible for a woman to marry 2 men?
It's possible.
In the Bible,
so
we see men that got married to 2, 3 women, 4 women, blessed by God.
I think we lie to ourselves as men. I think there's a lot of myths that we've adopted along the way. So women can notice if you are into these multiple. They will notice, and they would also want, those who are vindictive, they would also want to do the same.
A side back.
Yes, to do. And obviously, the pain will be more for a man when they discover. So,
because we've been wired to expect the women to accept such nonsense.
Yes. So it's like you want a woman to accept whatever you're doing, and you will never.
How do you guys say women are weaker vessels? How do you mean say women can handle pain of that nature?
That's just one way of justifying your actions. There's nothing they can handle it better.
Scientifically, women have got a high threshold of handling pain.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because they get trained not by choice. The month we are feeling, it prepares them mentally, emotionally, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, quite right. When we're going to talk of emotions, they are more emotional than men. But in terms of handling pain and that stuff, the woman is able to handle pain in a good way than a man.
So you're saying something.
Mm-hmm. So what happens now, when we begin to talk about the promiscuity of a man, okay? You see, when a woman cheats and when a man cheats, they're 2 different things.
How?
Men cheat by, it's just, they don't go into it like emotionally, because men are sexual.
Yes.
Of what they see.
I like what they say, it smells good.
Yeah. And immediately he's just going to do whatever they do,
It's done.
and he's going to forget about it.
Yes.
That's men.
Yes. A woman.
There are quite alright instances where a man goes in with it, like and he has fallen for it. For a woman to cheat is different.
Emotion goes first.
Emotion goes first.
Okay.
And once a woman gets attached to this other person,
Of course.
she has detached from you. And she
becomes obvious.
Yes, she cannot have the same emotions she has for that other person with you.
She cannot replicate the emotions. No, that's very true. I agree on that element.
So when we talk about the cheating of a man, a man can cheat
just for
and
sex.
still loves his
First wife.
And the love for the wife does not change. But a woman cheating, the love for the husband changes.
Yes,
and I know you are not agreeing to that.
So
I agree with that totally.
So emotions are emotions. I think one thing I can tell you is that is a myth. That is a myth.
It's not a myth.
You haven't seen a situation where a wife can have a complication at home, calling you to say, Okuno, not anything, quickly come. And your girlfriend calls, you give priority to your girlfriend. Most, you know that, Ujawa kunganda, nalamsam, uyu. There are also, there was that trending on social media where, I don't know whether it was just a joke, where a certain lady bashed into a BMW and the wife started calling first to say, my husband has been bashed, my hands has been bashed into. Please come. I know if you're sorting and the girlfriend calls, come and see the BMW.
It's the same accident scene.
Yes, after some hours, the man appears and only to discover it's a girlfriend and the wife involved. So emotions, sometimes you might think like.
Let me ask you a question.
Because
let me ask you a question. The question that is very, very simple. I'm not promoting that, but I want to be realistic with you. Things on the ground. Come deep. Now what ends up at Oshiri 10. What they should be. Now what ends up at Ufuela. You see? Then you buy another shoe. Which shoe do you think you will be inclined more?
The new shoe.
The new shoe. That's exactly what happens there. This guy is married, he's been with a wife. Okay. He's got to take a girlfriend. She's just being nice and no, let's just be real with life.
New moves are coming.
New moves. There's everything new that side, And
so now what's driving that?
Sex.
Emotions.
No.
It's not even emotions. It cannot be only sex only. The chatting is okay. It's sweet. Everything. This guy is just sweet.
And my emotions.
But them guys, I don't control it. When a woman cheats,
you should not say that.
you should not say that.
Now I am on emotions.
So on that one, I'll tell you like, okay, who do you think the husband will take care and go to attend to?
This is the part where I agree with Mulanga. Not to say women don't do anything. It's like I think when you friends with benefits. When a woman agrees to get in an arrangement of friends with benefits, in her mind she's thinking she'll convince you. Eventually, if you no, she's the white material. No, she's like, but for a guy, once he stands up to say this is just a friendship and we're just having sex, now this is what it is. But woman, she's expecting that I'm gonna find out if you are so. Eventually, it's going to move. So that it's based on those things where you see. It's very rare unless people get damaged. Women are just giving in for the sake of fun of it. Women only give in sexually or anything in those minds. Their emotions first shift. So when now, if my wife went out to cheat, it's not just to get back at me and for the sake of that. You should now say like now.
So what causes October? Is it that
the guy cannot accept?
Is it that the girl not emotionally or the guy can't accept?
Cannot accept it because he knows that house.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Now
at this point we are saying a man cheats and the woman has discovered.
Yes.
And the house is at it. So the risk is either it's going to break or it's going to hold.
No, if it's the man that cheats, it stays intact from that saying. From that saying, yes.
Yeah. Yes. What breaks the thing?
Is a woman cheating.
That too, there's a woman cheating. Now, I want to say a scenario here. I remember watching someone, I don't know who, but someone said this, which I'm about to say. Said, when a man sleeps with a girl, a lady, a woman, whatever you want to put it, what happens there is, for a man to sleep with a woman, the feeling is I've overcome her. It's more or less like it was, I've conquered her, to conquer her. So for a man to actually, even the time where you ask out this girl and she says yes, you know, you go home feeling you've conquered. That's what makes men feel like the more he's going to have, like, do you know how many girls I have around? Do you know this? Because they feel they've conquered a lot. And it is the nature of a man to conquer. It is the nature of a man to be in the battle and he conquers. Okay? With a woman, when a woman sleeps with a man, for her, I have possessed him. He is now mine. You get the point. So at that particular time, if you ask the guys, we have crazy people, crazy friends around, okay?
Like yourself?
Yeah, no. Not like as crazy as you think I am. There are people that are crazy. People that begin to tell you practical stuff, okay? Yeah. They will tell you to say a girl that you've slept with and a girl that you've not slept with, they relate to you differently. When you sleep with her, okay, the level of possession is different from the level of possession before sex.
True.
Okay, so I was watching this man and they actually explained things very well. So now, what happens now if now a woman begins to possess two people and you cannot possess two people at once? A man will possess one home. That one is just like he has said. Okay?
For helping out.
Helping out. You know when say that friends with benefit? For her, when she sleeps, already things are happening. He's mine and he cannot go
anywhere else.
Even when she knows you are married, she'll begin to feel jealous now and begin even to think she needs to replace the one at home. So now, when it comes to a man cheating, now where husband and wife, they've, okay, let's put an instance, you, the wife and his husband. The one who cheats is him and says so. There's a chance of him not to do it again. He was just moved or something. But if she is the one that cheated, if she is the one that cheated, the relationship will never be the same. One, the man will never accept because of the biological makeup the difference between a man and a woman. I'm not supporting that. I'm not saying it should be something that is supported, but these are realities of a thing. Because you know what? The issue I said, a man will rule.
I think those are some of the disappointing facts that people are finding. They go in marriage with that notion. When you go there, you find BP such kind she can't tolerate and all that. And one of the things I can say is, I think sometimes as men, all we need in that vein is also a lot of counseling and a lot of logic being put. Because I've seen certain men, you'd say, if they discover that their wives or their girlfriend is sleeping around with another person, they are done. They don't want that person. No. But the same guy,
I like what you said.
the same guy, yeah, I've seen a lot of guys like that.
That's true.
Going after married women, but who are I think that is being hypocritical. And that's some of the logic that needs to be put in perspective. And then before you go, in terms of also reducing some of these divorces we're seeing around.
Are you allergic to open?
No, I'm still eating. I'm still eating. Yeah.
We're seated strategically.
So in terms of reducing these divorces we see, in terms of actually a marriage I've seen marriages where a man discovers
The wife is cheating.
the wife, sometimes even maybe red-handed. Bamwe bati kulodia so wala.
Wala msanga. Asanga amata mali.
Asanga bale fumali. Yes. And after counseling, obviously, from now going forward, I think very few people are marrying virgins. So obviously, the person you are getting married to, obviously some men, some are.
She has known a man before.
Yes. Then.
Use the terms the Bible uses.
Yeah, no, be caution, but you found that person.
Everyone.
I saw one of the jokes. Yes, I saw one of the.
Let's quite spell this.
Yes, I saw one of the jokes. You know those quotes by Mugabe. Those jokes.
Yes.
At what? Women are
like a swimming pool.
Like swimming pool.
When you go there, just swim your swim. Forget about those swimming people who will swim after you. Just swim your swim.
Yes, such kind of jokes, you know. Those are realities of life. I think those are some of the.
Most of the humor comes from realities.
Yes. I think those are some of the things people need to put in their mind, even as they go in marriages, to say these things did happen, and obviously they can happen, and you look at the big picture. You look at the big picture, if she's repented, there's remorsefulness, they need to look at how old are the kids and they're moving on. So, you know, that's being selfish also as a man.
That's true.
All you need is to fulfill your ego, to look at you, and you don't care how your kids will grow. You don't care. So I think
care about the kids.
I think those are some of the lessons the people who are counseling people into marriage needs to be added, so that even as a man, Shiva, not Mwavika that no uchende bwamwa and I am there with a lot of expectations that I know you but you but she's also a human being. The pain is the same, emotions,
You see what happens on that? I just wanted to provoke a thought so that we begin to think broadly. Personally, my personal view is, you see what happens when you have an eventuality, something that was maybe not expected, you didn't even expect, or something that you wouldn't wish to happen, then it happens. You weigh the options. Look, it is foolishness to actually dissolve a marriage that you've been married for 15 years and she cheats. So you're going to tell me to say that the cheating has got the magnitude of actually forgetting about the 15 years?
Because cheating encompasses the level of trust. Are you able to trust that person? Are you able to feel safe? So that's why most men would rather just say.
You know your wife very well.
Yes.
This is the part now. You need to know your partner very well. You need to sit down and deal with the things thoroughly. You need to find out what is the reason that led to this. Yes. And she needs to be very logical and very real. This is, for me, this is the style that I would do. And personally, I would say, I would sit. I'll stay. She cheats? Yes. I will stay. You know why? I would want this person to be very honest and open with me. What led to that? When you check the reasoning there are two things. Is it because the guy was handsome? Is it the guy was so sweet around her? How did it happen? Because you know you don't just meet on the street and things begin to happen on the street.
Yes.
No.
How did
it lead to a point of thing for you to actually then as a man, what have you done to contribute? Because in one way or the other, the man actually, you are actually the contributing factor. Because even now we are now juicy something like that.
Thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, and say you're in a saying so these are also the other divorces we are seeing in all the.
Yes.
I have a Bill Gates. I have a Benny. So
And I like the way you decided to do this because Bill Gates is intimidating there. Just come out, you know that, right?
yes.
And he had been doing that for years, so just accept it. That
Yes. So the woman who bear whilst waiting maybe for the kids to move out of her nest. Once she sees there's nothing, I'm staying here.
Now we need to reach a point where we ask a situation to say what is leading to people cheating, especially women. Women never used to cheat, but this time they started cheating. I was reading an article today on Facebook. Some lady, I don't know who it is, I don't even want to make names here. But some lady was saying men in Zambia are actually going to outside country getting a girlfriend and stuff like that. What is it that they are going to offer there? Because men in this country are able, they can't even last 5 minutes in bed with a woman. So you see, again, a woman who is married, if she's going to tell the husband, I'm not getting satisfied in bed, the first thing that a man is going to think of mostly, how did you know you are not getting satisfied?
What other option are you weighing?
Are you weighing me against something that you are doing somewhere? So a woman, I read an article again which she...
So I think that question is not about comparison. Satisfaction is about the feeling. Yeah, so
that's my point.
That
exactly.
feeling happens.
But now the
Obviously.
problem comes in with a man. If I'm told, no,
So
I'm not
if-
getting the satisfaction in bed.
You read it as no, she's weighing me against
So,
somebody.
because
No,
a man...
orgasm is orgasm. Whether someone is comparing it with someone, if she's not having it, she's not.
Okay, there's
having
got many
it.
other factors. You can imagine this guy or this girl, before she got married, she had a champion of a guy in bed. Okay?
Yes.
Then she likes you, a good guy.
Yeah, to find out that.
And you are a five minutes guy in bed or 2 minutes in bed. How do you expect? She will die inside, but one day she'll like, I love this guy.
But I
I
remember MD.
remember MD, you know. This MD guy was like the champion, you know. And it was just within a short time and she's reached the climax.
Yes.
Okay? And this guy would try to do things and she would try by all means to say it in a nice way. But at the end of it, she just go like, okay, I love my husband, I love the marriage, I love everything. But I lack that climax.
Yeah.
What do? She goes and get it out elsewhere.
Yeah.
And the reason why, what is contributing to that is multiple relationships, sexual relationships before marriage. Because now, the time I'm getting married, I would have gotten married to a person that has seen at least maybe a minimum of 5. And within the 5, obviously, there are 2 guys.
Emphasis minimum.
Minimum. I'm using minimum. I'm using minimum deliberate because
that one I wanted to add something. I saw an advert for a conference by Jajat where I was saying most women have lived lives or marriages more than 10 years without even
feeling what an orgasm is.
Yes.
I was reading an article.
I saw where women's comment and most people wanting to buy tickets to attend. It was.
And it is happening. Me, I've interacted with a number of people. I can promise you, a lot of women in these homes, they are not enjoying their bedtime with their husbands. It's high time, I think, education needs to be brought to men also on how to certify women in bed for people that are married. Okay? There's a high time we begin to bring people that, like Dr. Mjajati, people that have studied medicine, people that know the anatomy of a human being, and they begin to explain it. This is what happens, this is what happens. If this part is stimulated, this is what happens. Then the other part that I read an article quickly. This woman was married. I don't know how true it is. Was married to this husband, and she got married to him when she was a virgin. To cut the story short, robbers came in the house, stole whatever they could steal. I think weighed about 25,000. The money that was in the house, got whatever they could. They didn't read of that. Looked at the wife, and he wanted to. He says, "I'm going to with her." So they tied the husband in the sitting room, and she goes in the bedroom, and this guy begins to dangle himself around before they act, and the woman is there. I don't know what happens. Now she's thinking for her life, and she says, "If you don't," they just like somehow, guys were there. Everyone was there. Everyone was watching. And the guy begins to happen to have knowledge of a woman in that regard. And the woman,
the husband. Or they went to...
I think it was to the bedroom or something. And the woman now, she felt she had an orgasm she's never experienced in life. And in her article, she says, I don't know how I found myself quoting this man, screaming, and actually tell him to encourage him even to do more. I know this is real. I was discussing this with a friend. No. So now the issue is there. The same topic that we're talking about. The issue is there. When the robbers went, they released her. They left. They never harmed anybody, and she went to untie the husband. And the husband said, according to the article, somebody else should have read that. I guess some people that are going to see this video, those that have read, made a comment.
Yeah.
So now, so the husband says, no. It's like you had knowledge of those guys. You had an arrangement of that. Okay, let's look at it from genuine aspect. From the medical aspect, it's almost difficult for someone to have an orgasm in that regard. It wasn't some kind of like he forced himself and went. No, he started touching her, did this more or less like that, just cuddling and stuff like that. There's a high chance of something like that can happen, and there's a high chance of something that cannot happen, because when you are scared, it is impossible for you to have an orgasm. But again, if you're going to be cuddled around and stuff like that, you can have an orgasm medically. Okay? So now, the issue that is there is the husband has refused and he wants divorce. So, we are talking about here.
She's screaming the way she's
so she enjoyed herself. She says, no, I want to save my marriage.
No, I need help. Don't come and help. This one don't.
No, she says I was watching the man on top of me and something like that.
Bye, mommy. Please go and find him.
So, if you were the husband in that
bye.
So, you who says if it was a man who was forced to actually sleep with one of the robbers, let's assume the robbers was a lady. He was just going to say, no, I was trying to help us, the family, so he did this. I didn't even enjoy it, whether he enjoyed it or not. Even if the wife says, no, but you look to enjoy it. Says, no,
I think what I can...
so the husband was a divorce there now. He can't handle that.
I think the divorce can be given because of the what immaturity the lady exhibited.
No, it doesn't even control.
No,
it's not immaturity.
No, an orgasm is not something that you control. Like when you are.
No, the immaturity is you telling that you.
I wanted to hold him.
Yes.
No, the issue the husband was there, was seeing. She could scream and everyone was listening. He was there. You saw things for himself.
That is also immaturity.
Which immaturity?
How do you start holding?
You can control your...
I think there were some pre-arrangements.
No. Okay, let's assume this was correct. This was correct and it is. Let's analyze it this way.
Let me tell you about how the human body works. I know you've done. So
I know you've done sex before.
Medicine, not sex.
When the body is in fear in that regard, I think the whole system collapses.
Oh yes.
So even the orgasm we're talking about, even the satisfaction, I think there are a lot of things at play.
Yes.
I've only seen in Zambia we only talk about the enlargement, the tightening. So it can be a factor where the size of the penis is considered, but also the fitness of the man is cardinal also, the smell also.
There are multiple factors.
There are quite a number of factors. Also, the preparation, did you start early enough and all those things. And one of the things that I know is most ladies, they don't like prolonged sex. All over, most of them.
They are saying men are lasting 5 minutes. They want more than 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is not enough for them.
5 minutes is too short. At least in the minimum ranges of 30 to 20, a passionate quick one in that range, I think that is appreciated. when you start doing
I want to see the comments on this.
No, we'll get comments.
We know men. We know men. We have had men that go for 6 hours.
No, what?
Poverty is you being on a woman for 1 hour.
Yeah, most women will tell you that.
I want to ask you something. MD, look at this, sir. There's a time in life, or there's a time.
Let's take it down one
There's a time of a human, especially for women, where she doesn't need to be stimulated. She just feel sex. So sex has got to do with hormones, okay?
Yes.
So I'll give you an example medically, okay? I'll give you the anatomy aspect of a human body, especially on a woman. The anatomy aspect of a human body is, if I'm going to touch here, you don't need to think or begin to analyze. No, this touch that I'm giving, the sensation that is given to the brain, and the brain is interpreting on how this touch is.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's stimulation that when it is, if you're going to touch here, there's a touch where I'm going to touch with so much firmness on it. There's a touch where there are nerves that are getting these sensations going to the brain, and the brain interprets. So the brain is receiving information. When it's receiving information, it will actually interpret, okay, this is the case. So the eyes saw, and every time your eyes see, okay, your eyes see sends information to the brain. The brain interprets. And now, because of what the eyes see, okay, the brain interprets. Then when the brain interprets, it asks, oh, what is it that needs to be done now? Oh, this type of hormones needs to be released. It gives command to a certain gland or a certain command center of the brain to release a certain hormone, and the certain hormone is released. Sexual hormones are released. So at that particular time, the eyes have seen. This guy has not just gone boom, and we do not know, maybe at that particular time, there's a time when the body begins to play tricks, whether you like it or not. There's a time where someone feels like, I don't want to have. Every human being feels sexy sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay? Every time there'll be a time where you just feel it is normal. It's a normal physiological function of the body. So let's assume that. Yes. So now, when the eyes have seen, and there's what you call in these medical terms, which I don't want us to go deep into. There's what you call, when you are in fear or when you have been stimulated in that, there's what you call the body is in fight. Okay, at that particular time, there's a lot that happens. Okay, there's no way you're going to feel like you want to pee at that particular time. Okay, there are certain things that happens in the body, even your eyes, the way your eyes contract and open, it's different. You know, when you are scared, you know, you open your eyes wide.
Yes, your pupil are very small.
So now, at that particular time, the body is in that. So again, the body has seen, and the brain has interpreted. Okay, at that particular time, there's a possibility it can happen that way, and there's a possibility there's a high chance that it should not happen that way. She should not feel actually feeling like having to enjoy a man. That is the high possibility. Hence what he's saying. But it is not, you cannot rule it out completely.
No, we can't rule it completely.
It's possible.
So now, the question we're asking there, you are the husband. Would you say,
no, I'm out.
You tell her the marriage is gone? So now
based
you are
on the
being,
reaction, not that the incident happened like that, but based on that reaction, I'm down, my friend. Let's help each other. You go and locate that nigga, and then you can do it.
You are the one, and that happened.
Yeah, so I think
because certain situations like this,
woman needed to be cancelled. Yeah.
No, he's asking how.
No, the woman doesn't have a problem. The woman actually says, you know what? Me, I married my husband a virgin. And that has never happened. I've never known any other man beside my husband.
Yes.
And now this man, when he came to me, there's something that he did to me that I don't understand. I reacted without me knowing. It was not something that I planned, but it just happened. I was screaming, whatever it is, grabbing him and stuff like that. I wish I could show you the article.
Yeah. So I think.
So you are the husband at that particular time.
In that regard,
it's not intentional cheating. It is
No,
circumstantial
it's not even
cheating.
cheating there. It's not even cheating.
No, it's not.
But the way it plays out as if something was pre-planned. That's the way.
Yes. Yeah, because of the behavior and also the way she analyzed to say I've never.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're pretty much killing the guy's ego. So
Yeah,
It's a reaction.
I think
She
also,
didn't even tell the man. The man saw it for himself. He heard the screams for himself. So that's how it was. So now you are telling me, in short, here you guys, two of you have agreed with me to say a man cannot handle the woman's cheating, because if we are to put a man in the same shoes, we are to put a man in the same shoes. Did everything where you could tell. Let's say a man was screaming, and is actually having fun and is enjoying. Okay, the woman would say no, it was circumstantial. She would agree. So now at that particular time, are we fair as men?
No, we live in a patriarchal society, they call it, like men dominant kind of thing. Like there are certain privileges that men have that women do not, which now feminists are trying to advocate against. But that's one of those things. Because society cannot accept the fact that your wife admits to say, I was more satisfied in a, that's a rape in a rape instance compared to what we've been having all along. So which simply means no, our sex is boring, no, it is not money. There's a lot playing on that guy's mind. That
so I think my answer to that one is I think there's also a need of counseling the woman to help her out. So obviously in there's a shock. There's also a bigger picture she needs to look at, because even a woman in the similar, we flip the page. If a man was given an option by robbers to rape that particular robber, and he behaves
the same way
that
the woman, no, I have never felt this way.
Yes, and the woman came.
No, the woman did not confess, but she just confessed because she says, I want help. She was building a story to ask him, I want help.
Yes.
She didn't tell the husband that she saw, the husband saw everything.
Like, no.
Yes,
This has never happened.
Even in that scenario where the man is doing the act and passionately enjoys that robber like that and doing ejaculation and everything like that. The woman maybe will even stay in that house, but her mind won't be that. I think that's the only difference.
So women only stay, but they've already left their mind.
Yes. So there are certain things women do
keep up to, but
where inganda kale yatobeka face value. Just but the woman
has already left. That's
yes.
True. Anyway, you can see we can never end our thoughts. But there are a couple of questions that Mlanga and Owen have raised here. What are your thoughts? What would be your reaction in the scenario that Mlanga gave in the article that we read? As a guy, would you accept such a scenario if your lady reacted that way, that she didn't tell you, but you see this has never happened, and the part of holding, okay, I mean that one is okay, I get where she get orgasm, but the fact that she was holding, hey, amen, that just plays out anyway. What are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. We'll interact with you. Let's see what would be your reaction. This has been Kutika. We'll catch you next time.